Hey everybody. I'm so glad that you guys are able to join me this afternoon. If this wasn't a good time for you, then please watch the recording back, comment any questions you have. I'd be happy to answer them. So I'm in my kitchen right now, and I'm pretty much doing what I typically do on a Sunday afternoon, and that is kind of prep and get everything ready for the week ahead so that I don't feel stressed out. And I've got my meals already planned. I sat down, I planned my meals in advance, we did my grocery shopping, and now I'm kind of prepping not only for the week, I'm prepping for school lunch tomorrow, for dinner tonight, and then some additional things that are going to help make life a lot easier during the week. So I want to share those tips with you guys. And what I'm probably going to have to do is just sort of turn my camera around so that I can kind of walk you through what I've been doing in the kitchen. I think that's probably the best way. So first, when I come home from the grocery store, I've got all this produce, this fresh produce. The best thing, if you can just take the time, and I do this while I'm in the kitchen on a day like today when I know I'm going to spend quite a bit of time in the kitchen, then I go ahead and wash all my produce and put it away, ready to use, so that just makes it super simple and easy. Now, I knew I was going to be able to share this with you guys today in kind of peace and quiet. My people are at a practice, but if they were here, then sometimes, I have them help me and just make quicker work of it. But this worked out perfect because I'm able to share this with you guys today. So let me just go ahead and turn my camera around. All right, so first, what I have here, you can see I have all my vegetables washing in this water. What I have in the water is vinegar, baking soda. So what I have is half a cup of vinegar, half a cup of baking soda, and then I put about 10 drops of lemon essential oil in there, which really helps to get rid of the residue. Hey, Rebecca. Helps to get rid of the residue. Even though I buy organic vegetables for the most part, there's still usually some type of a little bit of residue. You'll be surprised at what floats to the top. As this is sitting in my kitchen, I try to leave it here for about an hour. I'll come by and I'll just kind of, move them around so that they're all coated, kind of toss them around, and then just rinse them with water after they've been sitting there for about an hour or so. And that works out perfect. Keep them in the refrigerator, ready to go for either snacks or whatever I'm cooking for the week. I want to share next with you this little gadget right here. Now, I don't personally believe in having a ton of kitchen gadgets. I think that the basics is usually best. But honestly, I cannot live without this food processor. I've used it. I'm about to share with you what all I've used it for today, and you're really going to be surprised, I think. But I have used it over and over and over, and it's really paid for itself. So that is one kitchen gadget that will make your life a lot easier. So I would really encourage you, if you don't have one, to get one of those. So I'm going to walk over here and share with you what I made first. Well, actually, the very first thing that I made today using my food processor was this little bit of goodness right here. This right here, I cannot live without. I was out of it and wanted to make some more for today. So this is garlic infused olive oil, and I do have a few herbs in here. I know Carrie, I think, put a post on, she makes this too, and I think she put a post on the ingredients for that you can find if you just probably search it in the search tab on LifeShift. But I minced my garlic first in the food processor, and then I made this garlic infused olive oil. Just put it on the stovetop with some olive oil. I put some thyme, oregano, salt and pepper, and then just let it come to over medium heat until the garlic was a little bit crispy. Now, what I like to use that for, I saute kale, drizzle that over kale. Sometimes I just drizzle it over salad with vinegar for salad dressing. It can really, really just kind of take your recipes to another level. Then I left a little bit of garlic in the food processor, and I made some of this dip. you can see I have like a big container of it right here. This is just a hummus that I made for the week to take to work, send to school with the kids, to dip vegetables in. I'll take some fresh vegetables with it. Another tip, these little food containers. I tell you what, I used to wash so many of these little containers that were not disposable, and then I decided, you know what, that is too time consuming, so I decided to just invest in these. I just actually got them out of the cabinet so you could see them here. You can buy these at Kroger. Super simple and easy, and then you can just throw them away, but that just makes it really easy. I go ahead and package that for the next day. Let's see, next we are having pizza for dinner tonight. And what I used my food processor for after that was to just make my pizza dough. I've got a whole wheat pizza dough in here that, you know, I use yeast in, and so it's rising right now. That'll be for dinner tonight. After that, and I'm in the process, I'm not quite done with this yet, I pulsed up some cauliflower. This is cauliflower that I have removed all of the liquid from, and I am going to make myself a cauliflower crust for my pizza. So I use the food processor for the cauliflower as well. After that, I like to keep cheese in. I like to grate my own cheese. You don't get all of that binder, or not really a binder, that stuff that they put in the shredded cheese that keeps it from sticking together, actually is what it is. And you don't get all of that if you freshly grate your cheese, and really freshly grated cheese tastes so much better to me anyway. So I use the attachment to freshly grate some cheddar cheese, and then also some mozzarella for the pizza tonight. So you can see that was like huge. How many different things, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 different things that I use that food processor for, and I'm also going to make some black bean brownies in it. Over here I wanted to show you just while I'm over here, I have working some actually I turned it off now, it's pretty much done, some marinara sauce that's going to be for our pizza tonight. I had some roasted tomatoes in the freezer from last year, actually last year's garden. I roasted them, put them in Ziploc bags, pulled them out, went ahead and made a marinara sauce. I'll use that tonight, and then I'm also making spaghetti and meatballs one day. And then if I have any left over, I will sometimes roast eggplant, put it over the eggplant. I mean, just tons of uses for this stuff. I love it, love it, love it. So that is kind of what, let me turn my camera back around. Hey there. Let me walk back over here and sit my camera down, and then I'll show you a couple other things. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. So that's kind of how I made use of that one kitchen tool. That food processor did, what, helped me with 6 different recipes I was working on, maybe more. I lost count. But that's one time-saving tip. So, you know, I had the intention of coming and using that food processor to make my pizza dough. So then what I started thinking was, okay, what else could I make for the week? What else do I know I'm going to have? What else can I utilize that kitchen gadget for? And that's just one way to really save a lot of time when you're in the kitchen, and then save you time later on. Now the other way that I like to do that is if I turn on the oven and I'm cooking something, you know, for the week or for dinner tonight, then I will often just throw a pan of cut up vegetables in there to keep those in the refrigerator all week long to have, you know, in salads or just as a simple side dish. Just makes, you know, quick work of it. You've already heated up your kitchen with the oven, you might as well throw something else in there, right? Okay. So the other thing that I like to do while I'm here in the kitchen is, you know, I'm cutting up vegetables and prepping for school lunches and things like that. So I wanted to share some tips with you on that. Have you guys ever bought the carrots in the grocery store, just the little mini, you know, baby carrots in the grocery store? And I don't know about you, but when I buy them in bags, there's some kind of liquid in there, right? But on the bag it says, you know, that there's nothing but carrots in there. So maybe it's just water. But over time, it gets kind of like slimy and gross. So I tend to not buy carrots that way anymore. For some reason, they just don't last a long time. So I buy whole carrots now and just peel them and chop them up. But I wanted to share a tip with you on how to keep those fresh. You know, if you ever get carrots, you keep them in the refrigerator, you know, sometimes they can get kind of like bendy, like they're not crisp, right? So what I like to do is I like to cut the carrots up. You can see this right here. This is just some that I just cut up just a little bit ago that I'll put in school lunches and take myself to eat at work. Or if I'm working from home, but I just put them in this jar and I filled it with filtered water. That's it. So now, because they're in the water and they're gonna stay, you know, cold in the refrigerator, then they're gonna stay crisp. I just pull them out, pat them dry, throw them into our lunches. So that works out really, really good. The other thing that I did that I am gonna put in our lunch, in the kids' lunch tomorrow, for protein is a boiled egg. So I just boiled a bunch of eggs, went ahead, peeled them, keep them in a little container. We can pull them out, eat them on a salad. They can eat them in their lunch. Sometimes I'll make an avocado egg salad, which is really good. Eat it on toast or with crackers. Just really versatile, and eggs are a good source of protein. Now, for tomorrow, what I'm doing, I wanted to share too with you. I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about these Yum boxes. The way that these kind of came about in my house was my daughter came home from school one day and she said, Mom, somebody, one of her, so-and-so had a Lunchable today. For lunch, can we go and buy some Lunchables at the grocery store? And if you know me, I was like, oh, well, you know, I always try to think of like a different, healthier alternative, you know, to things like that, so that they feel included. They don't feel left out. They don't feel like they can't have things that their friends have, but just sort of do something healthy in a fun way. So I found these Yum boxes and I said, you know what is so cool, guys? We can now make our own Lunchables. In this way, we can put whatever we want in them. We can make healthy choices, and you can mix it up and get something different every day of the week if that's what you want to do. And when these things came in, I'm telling you what, it was like Christmas. They were so excited. They thought, I've used these for a whole year, and you can see these things have held up really, really well. They're an investment. I mean, this was, I think, $30, but I'm telling you, it was well worth it. We use them, I won't say 5 days a week, because I do try to send at least one hot or warm lunch per week, maybe 2 in the winter if we're having a lot of like soups and stews that they can just take leftover from dinner the night before. But I'm telling you what, this is the best investment. And I want to show you what's super neat about these. You can get, if you have older kids, you can get these, the plastic insert. So this little plastic insert just, you know, comes out of here like this. And you can get the plastic insert without these little pictures on it, you know, if you have an older child. But especially for like the younger ones, they think this is so cool. And it really teaches them how to eat a balanced meal. It teaches them, you know, what the components to a balanced meal are. So like, for instance, dairy, fruit, grains, vegetables, and protein. And I'll tell you what, sometimes I don't pay attention to what these say, and I'll just, you know, I might put the fruit in the protein or what have you. They will come home and they will tell me, you put the fruit in the protein, you know, you didn't put it in the fruit container. So anyway, I mean, they're paying attention and they know now what, you know, healthy choices are. So I want to show you what I'm packing for tomorrow and kind of give you some tips on that. So for tomorrow, here's the way I try to look at it. I try to look, when I'm making a lunch for them, I try to look and say, okay, I want a healthy protein. I want a healthy fat. I want some whole grains. And I would like to have a fruit and a vegetable in there. I mean, that's kind of my ideal lunch for them, you know, to give them all the vitamins and minerals and energy that they need. So what I have tomorrow, what we're having tomorrow, we're going to have, just going to show you, I kind of packaged one of them already. So carrots. So carrots are going to be the vegetable. And then for one of the protein sources is just a boiled egg that I've cut in half. The other thing that I wanted to show you that is fun that my kids really love is we don't eat a lot of sandwiches. So we don't eat a lot of bread. You could do this with a wrap, but what I have found my kids really love is I roll up deli meat. Now I don't give them a ton of deli meat, but I do, you know, to mix up their lunches. I mean, nobody wants to eat the same lunch every day. So to mix it up, I do like to give them, sometimes I'll buy deli meat. Now the most important thing with that is to make sure that you're getting nitrite-free deli meat. So just make sure that, you know, Applegate is a really good brand. Just make sure that, you know, you're getting good quality there. And again, we don't do this every day, maybe a couple times a week, and not even every week. I don't buy it every week. So just to kind of mix it up. But I roll up the deli meat and then I just stick little toothpicks in it, and it makes it just a fun way for them to just pick up and put it in their mouth in little bite-sized pieces. You could do that with you know, a tortilla. You could roll up some deli meat and cheese in a tortilla. You could totally put something like hummus in a tortilla, roll it up, and still, you know, put little toothpicks in it so it's just little bite-sized pieces. I have rolled deli meat. I have rolled some of these little cheese sticks inside the deli meat. Sometimes they like that, sometimes they don't. So I didn't do that for tomorrow, but you can do that as well. And that's another, you know, healthy source of protein. So that works good. And then the other thing that I have in here, you'll see, is just some party mix. You guys might have seen I posted a recipe for a healthy party mix that I made. I do like to include something like a cracker or some type of healthy carbohydrate in there, since we don't eat a lot of bread. So that's what I chose to put for tomorrow. For their healthy fat, I usually send some type of nuts. I might send an almond butter or a peanut butter if they're going to dip that in, or dip apples in that. But inside that party mix, there are some cashews. So I feel good that they're getting, you know, some healthy fats in there. And then the only other thing that you see I did not fill is the fruit. So tomorrow I'm going to give them some blackberries that I had. They love blackberries. But one tip, don't wash your berries ahead of time. Wash them the morning of, and then, you know, pat them dry as well as you can, and then put them in the container. I find that if you do it, if you wash them too far in advance and you do it the night before, that they just kind of break apart and get kind of mushy. And then what happens is they come home in the lunchbox and they're not eaten. So definitely try to do that the morning of. But doing the rest of this really saves you a lot of time. Now, one last thing I want to share with you guys. As far as drinks, you know, I used to send, and there are some healthy versions of, you know, juices and juice boxes and that type thing out there. But really, I've just over time tried to sort of like wean my kids off of those and have them make healthier choices with water. I mean, that's pretty much all they drink now, pretty much is water, especially at school. So what I like to do to kind of mix up their water, I have these little stainless steel containers, and these are a Swell brand, which I love. Again, now these are a little bit pricey, I'll admit it, but they really hold up really, really well, and I've been really pleased with these. I have one myself that I love. It's pretty much all I drink out of. But in their Swell container, I will ask them what they want. Do they want lemon flavor, or do they want wild orange? And I'll use my essential oils. So for them in that, I believe that's maybe it's only 8-ounce container, or 12, maybe it's 12. I'll put about 1 to 2 drops of whatever flavor they choose in that for them, and that way they have that. They can sip on it at their desk throughout the day. Sometimes I'll even send 2 bottles with them if it's really hot outside and I know they need one for lunch, and then they want to have one, you know, for recess and with their snack of the day. Now, another thing that they do like that I'll share with you that I've done before as well. One day my son said, I want some lemonade. Can we just make some lemonade? Well, I didn't have a ton of lemons. I had, I think, 1 laying around. So I said, okay, well, let's just squeeze some fresh lemon, cut off a slice of lemon, squeeze that, put that in their container, and then I put some stevia in there. And I mean, that was just like such a treat for them. They were like, oh my gosh, this tastes just like lemonade. So that's another thing that you can do to kind of avoid some of those, you know, sugary drinks and the drinks with the dyes in them. I mean, those, if you can avoid those, please, I mean, that would be best. So So that's kind of some tips. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys. I think that's pretty much it, but that's kind of how I make good use of my time in the kitchen. Now, as far as my lunch, so I always have a salad and then some vegetables. Some of that I've prepped with my dip that I showed you and the fresh vegetables that I've cut up, like the carrots. But for my salad, I'm gonna wait until tonight. We're having salad with our pizza. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my salad when I pull it out then, because otherwise I'm having to take everything out of the refrigerator twice, and again, just saves me a lot of time. So I'm all about trying to save time in the kitchen. I think sometimes people think that because, you know, I like to cook that I want to spend all day in the kitchen, which is not true at all. I just want to like get the job done and then go off and, you know, do something fun with my family or whatever. So anyway, I hope that these tips have been helpful to you. Please, you know, let me know if you have any questions or if there are other topics that you want to see live videos on in the future. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend and a great week ahead. See you later. Bye.